Are you tired of waiting for hours for your pasta water to boil? Are you sick of skyrocketing energy bills? Are you fed up with recipes that lie and say that you don't have to cook pasta? Well, I've got a recipe for you. I've developed a true no-cook pasta. That's right, we are not gonna wait for hours for that water to boil. We're not gonna hear our dog crying in the background because we're standing at the stove, not paying attention to him, not throwing the ball. All we're gonna do is we're gonna soak our pasta overnight. That's right, if you soak pasta overnight in salted water, go to sleep, you'll wake up to the smell of deliciously cooked pasta. Just kidding, you actually do have to boil water for these, but they're so worth it, and it's so simple, you're not even gonna worry about it. One is a pasta dish that has a purely raw sauce. The other dish is gonna give you that all day cooked ragu flavor, but actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw some summery vegetables on the grill, roast them till they're really soft, and then toss that with the pasta. Throw in some cheese, a little bit of habanero, some chili de árbol for a little bit of spice, and you've got an amazing, easy summer meal. Obviously, you need good parmigiano reggiano for your pastas, and we're gonna be using it in both of the dishes. So instead of buying that horrible can full of God only knows what, we're going to take a wedge of Parmesan, and I'm gonna show you how to grate it. So you get those really nice little crumbles, and it's super easy. So you just take the rind off, and you wanna make sure that you save this. I always keep the rinds in a little plastic bag, either in the refrigerator or in the freezer. They last forever, but these have so much intense, delicious flavor. You drop this into an Italian soup or a bolognese, let it simmer for a couple of hours. You will get that amazing, intense Parmesan flavor in your whatever you're cooking. So now we're just gonna cut this into little pieces and throw it into the food processor, and you will get all of those little green can crumbles. So now we're just gonna pulse to break things up. And then just let it rip. Now that the parm is completely grated, we are going to work on the easiest pasta, which is the no-cook tomato sauce. I went to the market this morning and I found these really beautiful Roma tomatoes. All I'm gonna do is take the core out and give them a little chop. So the cut of the tomato doesn't have to be exact. All you wanna do is give your food processor a helping hand. And I'm going to sprinkle over 2 teaspoons of sea salt. But the salt helps to break down the fibers of the tomato, and they'll release their liquid, and you'll get an actual more red sauce. And it'll be a little bit more smooth and less airy when you let that sit for at least 30 minutes. Okay, so literally every time, so and okay, I'm gonna stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to promise you that I am never, ever going to start my sentence with so or okay ever again. And if I do, please write something horrible in the comments, and then maybe I will learn my lesson. Thank you. I'm gonna put anchovies in this tomato sauce. Some people don't like them. I was thinking about saying this was gonna be optional, but really it's not. And also it doesn't matter because you can do whatever the hell you want to. But I really like anchovies. And I kind of was thinking when I wrote this recipe that I want really assertive flavors because we're not cooking, we're not concentrating flavors. So everything that goes into this dish is going to basically have to just punch you in the head and give you that full on flavor bomb. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna put a little generous pinch of salt. And actually, I'm gonna smash these a little bit first, just to get me started. I'm using my plastic board because I can wash this, and the flavors are gonna be so aggressive that if I did it on my wooden board, they would probably stay there for a little bit. So we will just make life easier for ourselves. That's a really big one, so maybe I'll just do the 1. And then you just smash it into the garlic, into the salt, and it'll turn into this really delicious flavor bomb paste that's just gonna wake up all the flavors of the tomatoes. Let's make this quick and easy sauce. Pistachios. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in this garlic.
Some men have hot rods. I have a food processor.
All right, this tomato sauce is done. I even got like the thumbs up from Sebas, so we're good to go.
Hey Rick, do you remember this show is called Sweet Heat, right?
Oh, don't worry, because I got some habanero and chili de árbol. So to spice things up a little bit, I'm going to just clip a little bit of chili de árbol in here. You can use red chili flakes. You can leave this part out, but you know what? Heat makes things better. Sweet heat. Now, if the sauce is done, all we have to do is toss it in the pasta. I am going to reuse my pasta water. We are making 2 pasta dishes and there's no reason to throw out all that delicious, salty, now starchy water. So I am going to drain my pasta. Also take a drink since I just said so. And action. It's eating time. I'm so excited because today there's not 1 tasting, there are 2 tastings. So, drink. As much as I want to finish this right now, I have pasta round 2. So I'm gonna get that ready and then we'll have like a little showdown. Which pasta do I like better? So today I am using 2 different types of summer squash. This is called a kasha or crookneck squash, and these are just Japanese summer squash. You can use zucchini, you can use patty pan, you can use whatever really looks good at the market. The thing that is important here is the weight. So this is roughly 3 pounds of summer squash. So let's talk salt. Okay, so normally if I'm roasting vegetables or if I'm even just sauteing anything, I always season very aggressively. My normal ratio is about 1 teaspoon per pound of anything. So by that, I would probably have put a little more than 3 teaspoons in this bowl of squash. But because I'm gonna salt the water and I'm gonna salt very aggressively, and I'm probably gonna use a little bit of the pasta water in the sauce, I need to be really careful that I don't over season. So I'm gonna put a teaspoon of salt, which I know is very much under seasoning. All I wanna do is put enough salt to draw out some of the moisture in the squash because there's quite a lot of moisture in there. And what I want to do is when I put it on the grill or when you put it in the oven, you want the heat and the salt to react and pull that moisture out, let it evaporate, concentrate the flavors, and caramelize the squash. Now, for the pasta water, a lot of times, when I cook pasta for people are always like, oh my God, this tastes like restaurant pasta. And the reason for that is restaurants really aggressively salt their pasta water. So I have a large pot of water that's almost at the boil, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add my salt in. Again, lots and lots of salt, but it's gonna make the pasta taste really delicious. I set my grill at 375 degrees. The squash is gonna cook for about 45 to 55 minutes. You wanna give it a little bit of a stir every, maybe 20 minutes or so, just to make sure it's not burning or sticking. And then it'll be soft enough to make into our sauce. Roasted squash. It's like we were cooking it all day, but we didn't have to do anything. I'm gonna pull out some of the more brown bits of squash and we'll use these as garnish. It will be really, really delicious and tender and caramelized. And then we will use the rest to make our sauce. So to make the sauce, we're just going to add the rest of our parm. And some really yummy ricotta, or as we say in Mexico, requesón. And now I'm just going to stir this to combine, but I also want to mash up the squash a little bit. I want this to be kind of like a creamy, thick sauce. And we're gonna add a little bit of the pasta water to it to kind of contribute to that kind of saucy feel. So drink time. The squash is really soft and it doesn't take a lot of effort, like really just like stirring it kind of smashes the squash and it's getting really, really thick. Now we're gonna drop our pasta into the water. All right. Also, we're reusing the water. Recycle, reuse. But because we already cooked the pasta from the first dish, I have pasta water, so I can continue to make my sauce. I am going to put, actually I'm gonna taste this first to make sure that I'm not that salty. Well, it's actually kind of sweet and spicy. Sweet heat. That habanero adds a really nice kick, but the roasted squash is actually really sweet, which I'm very happy about. So I checked the seasoning. It's pretty mild on the salt, so I feel good about putting half a cup of the pasta water in there, which I know is pretty salty. So we're gonna give that a stir. And you can see it's getting nice and saucy. This is exactly what you want. I think I'm gonna have to start having more 2 and 3 ways because I like this multiple tasting thing. So round 2, yay. It's so pretty. Wow. So it kind of tastes like an adult mac and cheese. It's the first thing that you get is like, the creaminess of the parm and the ricotta, and then you get the sweetness of the roasted squash, and then you get this really nice kind of gentle, it's a little bit aggressive, but habanero heat. This is really delicious. Okay, Sebas, you have to try this too. Have another bite too.
Wow. It is the adult mac and cheese. And I can totally taste the habanero. Ooh, but at the end. It's not at the beginning, but it's just like
At the end, yeah. Now I have to taste them together at the same time. Like picking a favorite child. The thing about it is, the red one, it's fresh, it's raw. This is what I want to be eating, like if I'm lounging next to the pool, you know, having a margarita. This one, it's almost a little fall-like. Like it's that roasted caramelly squash with a little bit of sweetness and that creamy cheese. I don't know that I want to eat this by the pool. I want to eat this like kind of like with a giant bowl by myself in the dark and then just eat the whole thing. I want you to try them both. They're incredibly easy. They're incredibly delicious. And as always, make sure you hit like and subscribe if you like me, if you like this recipe and you want to see more Sweet Heat, and you will be notified as soon as there's another Sweet Heat episode.
Rick, don't you think you could put these sauces on other things like toast, pizza? I don't know.
So I actually think that we should completely reshoot this episode, to be honest, because I think that these sauces could just be a standalone episode. I would 100% put these on toast, get a really nice piece of crusty sourdough bread and just smash in the tomato or the squash. You could actually, like if you had some pizza dough, just like roll out your pizza dough, put these sauces on, top it with a little bit of fresh mozz, throw it in the oven, finish with a little drizzle of olive oil, parm, basil. Obviously, like the pasta works really well. I mean, but you know, you could top these with like some grilled fish, grilled chicken, serve it on the side. I mean, there are like a bunch of ways